Konnichiwa, konbanwa, ohayo gozaimasu. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Khan. Welcome to episode 120 of Good or Garbage, the number one place where you can find out what stuff is being sold in a division on a weekly basis with 120 damn weeks in a row. Unbelievable, man. You know what? I feel blessed. I feel blessed that you're here. If you're watching this video, I know that there's so many other people out there that make division vendor resets videos, but if you're here right now, history in the making. 120 weeks in a row, man. Who else can say they doing that? Nobody. But I just want y'all to know, this week is pretty poo-poo. It's pretty poo-poopy doop. There's one God roll, and that's still kind of questionable. All right, now let's move on to the attachments for this week. At East 42nd Street, we have a rugged mini reflex sight being sold this week with 6.5% critical hit chance, 6% headshot damage, and 4% critical hit damage. Now, while the critical hit chance could be, I believe, about 1% more, it's still pretty good. You still get headshot damage, and you also get crit damage, and the crit chance is 1%, but that 1% does make a difference. But still, if you are looking for something like this that has headshot damage, crit damage, and critical hit chance on your sight, then definitely go over to West 42nd Street and check it out. At East 40th, we have a heavy magazine spring being sold this week. 3% critical hit chance, 4% critical hit damage, and 10.4% rate of fire. If you've been looking to get a boost in your rate of fire and you don't really care about the magazine size so much, then you can go for this option at East 40th Street and check it out. At the DZ5 vendor, we have the Omega Rifle Suppressor being sold this week with 18.5% headshot damage, 3% critical hit chance, and 4.5% optimal range. Now, while we really needed that critical hit damage instead of optimal range for the God roll, this is a decent roll. I still need that crit hit damage, but I can live without it. If you are running with the M700 carbon, remember that thing has very low range. Often, I'm sure pretty much most of the snipers out there that have used it know that sometimes you get ghost bullets from targets that are extremely far away. This could help out with that little bit of range boost, although I don't really think it's worth the trade-off for critical hit damage. But if you don't have something like this and you want to use this until you get the God roll 18.5 headshot damage, crit chance, and crit damage, until you get one of those, you want to have one of these to kind of tide you over, then go for it. But yeah, I'm a little bit salty that this doesn't have critical hit damage. At Camp Hudson this week, we have a small grip with 18% critical hit damage, 4.5% reload speed, and 2% accuracy. Now, while this is definitely not the best of the best, I know that some people are still struggling to find proper attachments or even find somewhatly decent attachments. 18% critical hit damage is still pretty good. It's not the best. You can get 19%. Reload speed and accuracy, not really top tier. Reload speed can help out, especially if you're using ARs and stuff like that. But accuracy, I would have liked to see something else on here, but this isn't too bad. So if you do need something like this, go ahead over to Camp Hudson and pick it up. At Camp Clinton this week, at the special equipment vendor, we have a high velocity magazine for sale. This one looking pretty good. We've got 7.5% critical hit chance, 4% critical hit damage, and 5% reload speed. Now, while generally people use these magazines in a Lone Star build, reload speed won't really have much of an impact if you're using Lone Star, just because you're going to be switching the weapons out. But if you're using this on something else, like maybe a higher magazine, LMG or maybe even the PP19 for your defense build, then this could work out pretty well. Although for the PP19, maybe not so much, just because you do better off trying to get some more crit damage, or even a larger magazine, or a bigger rate of fire. But it is what it is. This would still work out pretty well for some of the LMGs. So if you're looking for a high velocity magazine with really good crit chance, decent crit damage, and some reload speed, then go over to Camp Clinton and check it out. At West 42nd Street, we have an extended magazine being sold this week, coming in with 115.5% magazine size, 4% critical hit damage, and 3% critical hit chance. Now, while the magazine size can be quite a bit bigger, the critical hit damage and the crit chance are still very good. So if you are looking for an extended mag or a decent magazine to hold you over until you get the absolute god roll, this is not a bad one to pick up. So head over to West 42nd Street and check it out. Now let's go take a look at this week's gear mods. At the vendor in DZ4, there is a performance mod being sold this week with 5.5% first aid ally heal. If you're looking to heal your allies, if you're running that reclaimer build, then go on over to DZ4 and check this out if you don't have a 6%er. At Madison Stand, we have a stamina mod being sold this week with 266 stamina, almost at the max, and we also have 3,125 health to go with it. So this is much better than some of the other mods that we've seen this week in terms of health. So if you would like to pick this up, don't forget, head over to Madison Stand and check it out. Pretty good stamina mod. At West 42nd Street, we have an electronics mod being sold this week with 266 electronics and a staggering, mind-boggling, amazingly stupid 2% all resistance. Electronics is good, but the major attribute is garbage. At Camp Hudson this week, we have an electronics mod, purple. This one with 190 electronics and 3% damage to elites. Now what you really want is 4% damage to elites, but this is what we get. The 4%ers are extremely rare, so if you ever hear me shout these out at 4%, go and pick them up, regardless of what the electronic stamina or firearms roll is. You definitely do want to go and check those out. Now also here over at Camp Hudson, there is a firearms mod being sold. This one with 264 firearms and a kind of pathetic 2,848 health. Now while the health roll is not the best, still 264 on firearms is not bad, especially if you don't have anything better than this. So if you don't have something topping this, then you may want to go and check it out. I know a lot of the OGs have stuff that are, you know, totally better than this, and if you've been keeping up with GLG for the past 120 weeks, then I guess you should have something better than this by now. But if you do not, or maybe if you're new to the division, new to my channel, or new to good or garbage, then if you don't have anything better than this, definitely go and check it out. And then hold on, you never know, maybe next week we'll have something better. At the special equipment vendor in the base of operations, there is an electronics mod being sold with 261 electronics. It also comes with 2.5% exotic damage resilience. If you've been looking for something like this, then you can go over to the base of operations and pick it up, but please do remember that this will cost you 192 Phoenix credits. Now let's take a look at the 280 to 283 gear score items. This week at the special equipment vendor in the base of operations, we have a gear score 280 AUG A3 Para XS. Now this thing comes in with 20% critical hit chance. It also comes with Meticulous, Competent, and Adept. Now while Adept has seen better days, I think that even having Adept and Competent together, if you have the electronics for it, are still a pretty good synergetic combo. If you roll off Meticulous and put Deadly on there, I think this could work out pretty well if you don't have a house. Now if you have a house, we've had this discussion before. I don't think I need to say too much more. than that. Now, while this is getting a slight shout out, even though it is not the best weapon that they have at the special equipment vendor this week, there are quite a few weapons that didn't quite make the 280 cutoff. One of them I wanted to give a shout out was this Liberator. Actually, I really like this Liberator. It comes with 22% enemy armor damage. It also comes with Intense, Unforgiving, and Brutal. Brutal and Unforgiving, two of my favorite talents, and then having Intense that you can roll off and do whatever you want with, that is also there. This is in the heads up section, along with the Centurion that comes with Ferocious and the Black Market AK. This one has some pretty decent talents on it, Responsive and Deadly, and it also has Determined on it. And then moving on, we have the M870 Express Shotgun, this one with gear score 280. Coming in with the talents Determined, Responsive, and Swift. You can do what you want with either Swift or Determined. So pretty interesting stuff that they have this week. Not really the super ultimate god roll stuff, but if you are in dire need of finding something, maybe you're new to the game, maybe you just came back for the shields for that have started with the ones from yesterday, or whatever, I don't know. But if there's something that you're looking for, maybe you just need a weapon really quick, try and take a look at some of these. They might work out for you. Now, usually I would not be putting this in this section, but because the talents are so good, I just had to talk about it and put this in the video. Now, while the information about this is in the heads up section down below in the DZ vendors area, I wanted to put this in here, so let's get to it. So in the Dark Zone DZ3 vendor, there is a gear score 264. Yes, I know that is extremely low. Tactical SASG 12K. Now, if you are in need of an SASG or some kind of automatic shotgun and you don't have a showstopper, then you can grab one of these and dump a whole bunch of Division Tech into it, because it's got 346% stagger. It comes with Responsive, Deadly, and Unforgiving. So if you have ever needed some kind of a beastly shotgun that's automatic and you don't have a showstopper, this is pretty much a god roll. The only thing that's wrong about it is that the gear score is low. Remember that the SASGs do have a higher base damage than the showstoppers. The showstoppers just fire faster. So if you are looking for something like this for whatever build that you have, this is over at DZ3. Remember that the information about this is in the heads up section down below in the DZ vendor area. All right. Alright guys, that is it for this week's Good or Garbage episode 120. I still can't get over it. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for rolling with your boy for this long. I'd love to know when you guys found this channel. If you can leave that in the comment section below. Let me know how long you've been rolling. A roundabout figure. It ain't got to be the exact day, but just roundabout which year, which month you think. I'd love to know. 120 weeks. Still, the Division vendors, lots of poop. Shout out to Kanye West. Boop, boop, doop. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys again for all the support. Love you all. Until the next one, I'm out. Peace.